I met my abandoned girlfriend at school. The female teacher said that she was suffering from guilt. Everybody is slandering girls now that the number of abandoned children has increased. However, why don't we blame the guys who left the girl pregnant, relatives and friends who didn't show support in time and lend a helping hand in difficult times? Why does the poor girl leave her child? Due to the lack of action, sometimes due to the pressure of elders, they fall into irreparable mistakes. Such a situation happened to me too, said a woman named Ulbozen. Had the event, I met my abandoned girlfriend at school. The female teacher said that she was suffering from guilt. I met my abandoned girlfriend at school. The female teacher said that she was suffering from guilt. I am teaching my grandson. Illustration image taken from open source. Everybody is slandering girls now that the number of abandoned children has increased. However, why don't we blame the guys who left the girl pregnant, relatives and friends who didn't show support in time and lend a helping hand in difficult times? Why does the poor girl leave her child? Due to the lack of action, sometimes due to the pressure of elders, they fall into irreparable mistakes. Such a situation happened to me too, said a woman named Ulbozen. Today, our reader, who works as a school teacher, met his daughter, whom he left behind in the maternity hospital, years later. He told the Erner Key reporter about the situation. I am 40 years old. I have 2 sons and 2 daughters. I gave the eldest daughter a kiss and kissed her granddaughter. The head of the family and I earned bread with simple work and raised our children without inferiority. I currently teach elementary school. I have 1 class before noon and another in the afternoon. This year, I accepted children of the 1st grade. Among them, I almost fell off my back when I saw that the daughter of my daughter whom I left years ago, that is, my granddaughter, came to study. I was also young, drunk with love. I grew up earlier than my friends at school. I started to get taller. I used to let my long hair down and go to my father's sister's house, who lived at the other end of the village, on purpose to catch the eyes of the boys. So I became the apple of the eye of the boyfriend, and when I was studying in the 10th grade, I fell in love with a guy who was 5 years older than me. At first, I was proud that a guy who was older than me, who was 5 years out of school, spoke to me. He even graduated from the university and worked in the district. During the day, I was at school, and in the evening I was dating my boyfriend. Until 6 months, he did not show me extra behavior. But over time, he convinced her saying, I'm going to marry you anyway, I'm going to get engaged the day I finish school, don't be afraid. As time passed, we started to become like normal married people. If he didn't come in the evening, I used to worry and worry. At this time, our relationship became known to some people. Even the teachers at school were sensitive to something and used to stare at me. I will finish school and get married. I hurried to finish school. I waited for days, saying, I just have to wait for 1 quarter, and while preparing for the graduation party, I became very sick. No matter what I eat, I vomit, I can't sleep, I feel dizzy, and I make my mother worried. I had just turned 1 years old. My mother was immediately shocked that I have not got a bad disease, and the next day she took me to the clinic for examination. The next day, the village doctor came home, and I thought to myself, I'll tell my boyfriend first, he'll marry me right away. But 2 days later, my boyfriend, who heard the news, said, I'm going on a business trip to the regional center. I'll come back in 2 days, everything will be fine. Tell your boyfriend to get married. I waited for about 10 days, and finally I realized that I had been badly deceived and cried, he deceived me. My late mother was lying down. On the 3rd day, he raised his head, sold a cow in the yard to my father, and took me to the city. I will enroll, there is a training center, I will be accepted, he said. So he placed me in the house of a tailor woman on one side of the city, and he himself returned to the village. The woman who took the money treated me well. My mother used to bring meat, kefir and milk from the village once a month, and she was always aware of my situation. When he heard that I had given birth, he was so excited that I could take my daughter in my arms and breastfeed him. On the landing page, it was explained that we will leave the child here. I am a child myself. What my mother said was the law for me. I muttered, ugh. At that time, the thought, I will regret it tomorrow, my life is wrong, did not enter my mind. It seems that we were glad to get rid of the child before it became public. Years passed like this. I am quite adapted to the city. I graduated from the Pedagogical Institute. I got a job in one of the city schools. I got married. Not everything went well at once. I also went through a lot of trouble. There were days when my personality was not compatible with that of the head of the family, and we broke up and got back together. But we overcame some family problems. I have 4 children from my husband, thank you. But until now, my firstborn has not left my mind for a moment. Sometimes I wake up in a dream. I used to think a lot about where is he alive, where is he going? I used to pray to God, I wish I could see at least from the outside. My wish was accepted. My daughter has now given her daughter to my class. I am teaching my grandson. Every 4 years, a new student comes to me. Each of them needs an individual approach. We try to establish a good relationship with the parents. At the beginning of the year, we hold a meeting of parents and get to know each one individually. Then the name of my student's mother, Jangalavana Diana, made my heart tremble. I felt as if I had seen my youth. I was sweating like ice. I wrote her name as Basanova Shanark in the maternity hospital. This girl has the same name. At the end of the meeting, I started talking about his daughter's lesson. Where are you from? I asked. I was brought up in an orphanage, said Janark. Isn't it already known that it's my daughter? I am happy that she married a good man. He seems to live well and has an expensive car. Daughter Diana also talks about the people in her house with great enthusiasm, saying that she is the daughter of my grandparents. I want to look at my granddaughter, hold her in my arms and say I will be your sister. But I feel what will happen if my jealous husband finds out. My mother-in-law lost her sight. I have no one to ask for wisdom. How can I tell my family about the sin I have kept inside for so many years? Or should I keep this secret under wraps? If I say, let the closed pot remain closed, tears will not stop in my eyes when I see my daughter who comes every day to pick up her daughter. I am your mother, I want to hug and apologize. I'm in a lot of trouble, please help me.